Or 6 turns.
Turns.
Say again.
8.
Copy 8 turns. Thank you. And then check that the indicator button is out.
Okay.
Aki Hoshide, the ground IV here in Mission Control, guiding our spacewalkers through their procedures today as the International Space Station flies 253 statute miles just over London. Beautiful view.
Roger. And same setting, correct?
Same setting. That's correct. And for Mark, if you are ready, we can do the safety tether swap.
Okay, that's in work. Starting. 1, 2, 3. Turns. And indicator is out.
Copy 8 turns, indicator button out. All right, Nemo, next PGT setting is Alpha 7, counterclockwise 2.
Roger. Alpha 7. Counterclockwise 2. Ready for mate demate.
That's correct. Mate, demate, bolt, 8 turns only.
8 turns only. Starting. 2, 3, 4. Turns. Complete. Doc, if I can jump in real quick, I'll report on my tether swap.
Sure.
So I got my yellow hook on the SSRMS handrail. Gate closed and locked. The green hook is on handrail. Can't see the label, but it's right next to WIF 6. Green hook is closed and locked. Both of the reels are unlocked.
Copy, Mark. Good config. So let me talk to Nemo real quick, and then you can do a GCA to publish APFR ingress. So Nemo, next is the structural bolts, 8 turns only.
Copy. Structural bolt, 8 turns. Walk.
And Mark, you have comm.
Okay. Keep it for a little bit.
So Mark, Vande working through procedures to swap his tether configuration, make sure he's going to be secured onto the space station's robotic arm as he rides it once he secures himself in the portable foot restraint. That's the APFR ingress that you're hearing.
Go ahead.
Okay. Joe and Maker, are you ready for a GCA to the APFR ingress?
Yes, we are. We'll get in mode. We'll let you know before we start motion.
All right, let's call that GCA started to the published.
Copy. GCA started. Okay, Mark, we're getting ready to start motion. It's going to go right back to where we started, about 1.8 meters, going station and nadir. Arms coming in motion.
Copy. Good motion.
Copy. Good motion. Mark, we got about 60 to go, 60 centimeters.
Copy.
40.
Oh, let's stop motion there.
P, we'll stop motion. Motion is stopped. Let us know how you like it.
Checking.
Mark Vande in the suit from this view here. Again, he's identified by the red stripes, talking with Joe Akaba on the inside of the space station, actually maneuvering the robotic arm, talking with each other to make sure that the station's robotic arm and the foot restraint that's attached that you can see there hanging off the end. Mark Vande trying to get it into a good position so he can get in it himself. His tethers are all hooked up properly to the station's robotic arm. Now he'll secure himself inside to ride it up and meet Norishige Kanai.
Okay, I checked the hitting surface.
Kanai over at the POA, or the Mobile Base System, working with a pistol grip tool and a scoop, basically a handling tool, to remove the camera light assembly from the currently stored latching end effector that we brought back in. That camera light assembly will be reinstalled onto the latching end effector that they will move into this position later during today's EVA on the POA where Kanai is right now. Camera light assembly in hand, he'll be storing it inside his equipment bag for the remainder of the EVA until they get to that next task of moving the next latching end effector. Mark Vande hanging off the external platform, getting his feet snug into that portable foot restraint.
I am clear of structure. No tethers to the ESP2.
Copy, clear. And you got your waist tether on the ingress aid?
Do.
Copy. You can make or go to maneuver you to the ESP2 backup position.
And Maker and Zero, your go for the ESP2 backup position.
Okay, copy. We'll get in mode and we'll let you know before we start motion.
I'm back to you, Aki. The EV2.
We're now handing over a communication from our TDRS satellites. Tracking data and relay satellites should be regaining communication with the International Space Station shortly. During a spacewalk, we try to minimize the gaps, communication gaps that we have with our spacewalking astronauts. We'll still hear them on the loops.
Forward, about 1.2 meters.
Copy, 1.2 meters.
Mark Vande reporting a good position. He seems to be snug in his portable foot restraint, and Joe Akaba communicating with Joe Akaba inside the International Space Station to sort of back up the station's robotic arm, get it into position, and start maneuvering towards Norishige Kanai, who's waiting at the mobile base system to get that latching end effector.
Agree.
40 to go.
And Nemo, I think
Mark on 1. We're just going to get set up for the Joe cast. We'll let you know. All yours, Aki.
Copy. Sorry about that, Joe. Hey, Nemo, we caught you during the handover. I think you were calling down for a glove and hat.
Not yet. Okay, thank you for the reminder. That's still clean. Top is dry.
Copy.
Chrome cell is already removed. I'm ready for mate to demate connector.
Copy that. Stand by while Mark flies over to you. And Mark, whenever you have a chance, we'll take a glove and hat from you too.
It's a good time. Top is dry. Gloves, no change.
Copy. Enjoy the 4-minute maneuver. Take pictures. Enjoy the view.
It's an amazing view over some place that's got lots of snow. Or maybe not. It looks like the snow disappears. It's disappeared.
I think you're actually looking at the Himalayas.
I would explain a sudden appearance of snow. Are we heading south?
That view that Mark Vande is getting from the end of the station's robotic arm, he's beginning a 4-minute procedure to ride over to meet Norishige Kanai at his workstation, International Space Station, flying 251 statute miles just over southeastern Turkmenistan, about to head over Afghanistan and into an orbital nighttime. We'll start seeing the outside views of the space station getting darker and darker. Norishige Kanai over at the mobile base system has finished his work. He removed the camera light assembly from the spare latching end effector that they're about to grab and stowed it away into a bag, performed a hap and glove check. You'll hear that a lot throughout today's spacewalk, basically making sure that there's no scuff marks on those gloves and that their helmet absorption pad is dry and free of any potential leaks that may happen of water into the helmet. Everything looking good. Mark Vande securely fastened into the station's robotic arm, taking a ride. Right now you can see the view slowly shifting as he's riding along the robotic arm. He's got a camera in hand taking pictures of the beautiful views of the Himalayas as he transitions to that new work site.
One. Detailed copy. Looks like your left cap is on, Nemo. Catch, thank you. No problem. I took a bunch of pictures. I hope I'm taking a bunch of pictures. I'm not sure the button is pressed. Okay. I need your hero pose. Gotcha. I need the same from you. Nice. Arigato. What do you say? There's a stolen Japanese. Touch my mustache. Don't touch your mustache. I think Aki was the teacher of that phrase to the astronaut office. Exactly.
You'll have to say, "Don't touch my mustache."
Don't touch my mustache.
And Nemo, while you're waiting for Mark to come over, we can start on the mate demate.
That sounds great idea. Please copy the PGT setting.
PGT setting is Alpha 4, counterclockwise 3, and you can BRT to any handrails.
Copy. Alpha 4, counterclockwise 3.
And it's about 35 turns to a hard stop.
Roger that. 35 turns to a hard stop.
That's a good copy, and you are go to drive.
Turning. 7, 8. To 35. Okay. I got the 35.5 turns and 68 pounds for the torque and the good green light.
Copy visually.
Out.
Copy, you read my mind.
And Mark in Houston, the arm is ready to maneuver to the POA axis position, looking for your go.
I'm tracking this as a GCA, correct?
Yeah, we have a GCA to published, and it'll be station zenith, right about 1.4 meters.
Copy, Nemo, do you need the com for anything? Nope. Aki, you need the com?
Negative, you are go for the GCA.
All right, Joe, let's do the GCA to published.
Okay, that's it. North.
A great view of both astronauts. That's Mark Vande in the foreground there. You can tell by the red stripes on his thighs. He's at the end of the portable foot restraint that's attached to the station's robotic arm. They got to the first checkpoint on his way to what's referred to as the POA. That's the workstation that Norishige Kanai is at there in the background.
Motion, towards POA. I agree, good motion.
Motion.
Mark Vande is communicating with Joe Akaba, who's at the controls, with Scott Tingle on the inside of the space station, actually maneuvering the station's robotic arm. In the meantime, Norishige Kanai was using the pistol grip tool, the handheld spacewalking power drill tool that was used to take some turns to start the mate-demate mechanism that basically is an indicator to start getting ready to remove the latching end effector. That exposes EDFs, that's expanding diameter fasteners. You'll hear that a lot through the next few tasks. Those are the special bolts that are securing the latching end effector in place. Also can be referred to as an ORU right now, which is an orbital replacement unit, basically a spare part, which is what this particular latching end effector is right now. The purpose of this task right now is to bring that latching end effector back into the station's airlock and send it back down on a SpaceX for refurbishment to send back up to the International Space Station as a spare part.
Let me check this out. Can you give me another 10 centimeter station? Yes.
From the helmet camera of Norishige Kanai, you can see his tasks on his left forearm when it's exposed right now, getting a good look at his crewmate Mark Vande in the red stripes, getting into position basically for a handoff once they get those EDFs, those bolts out, and the latching end effector can be removed and placed into Mark Vande hands. He'll take the latching end effector over to the airlock riding on the station's robotic arm.
Let's go 20 meters station aft.
Okay, copy. Station aft. Means we'll be going towards your head. We'll get you as much as we can. We'll let you know.
Thank you. I'm watching that PDGF. It looks like you have plenty of room. I agree.
And Nemo, not sure if you have a view of Mark's helmet.
I have his helmet, and left side is clear.
Okay, great. Yeah, if you don't mind keeping an eye on that, and here comes station aft.
I see good motion. All right. And let's stop that motion, Joe.
Up in motion.
Stop motion.
The International Space Station flying 250 miles just northwest of Singapore into an orbital sunset. You'll start seeing the views from the outside of the station getting slowly darker, and we'll rely on the lights on the outside of the station and the lights on the helmets, the camera light assembly of each of our spacewalking astronauts.
All right, guys, first thing for both of you
go for driving EDFs.
Are make sure that you have at least one retention lanyard intact for all the EDFs before you release.
I've got for EDF 3, 4, and 5. I have 2 each. I have 6, 1, 2, 2 for each.
All right, let's start with EDF number 3. That's on Mark's side. 5.5 turns, and then pull the lanyard. It's going to be Bravo 7, counterclockwise 2. And 2 minutes to sunset.
Bravo 7. Counterclockwise 2 is set. 5.5 turns. It's in work.
So the two astronauts will be working together to remove the latching end effector. They'll use the pistol grip tool. That's the power drill that they have in hand right now. This is the helmet camera of Norishige Kanai. You can see by the 17, the number 17. That's his helmet camera at the bottom right of the screen. They have a few EDFs. Expanding diameter fasteners. They're pretty much the bolts that are holding in the latching end effector now.
And Mark, did you say EDF 5?
Right now they're setting the pistol grip tool to perform various turns on each of the bolts. They'll hand the pistol grip tool over to each other as they are in two separate good positions for each of those bolts, and release the latching end effector.
Okay, copy that. So Nemo, you can drive EDF number 6, 5.5 turns, and then pull the lanyard.
Okay, I have Bravo 7, counterclockwise 2, and I understand 5.5 turns.
Okay, copy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half. Yep. In the loose. Yes. Complete.
Copy. EDF number 6 complete. Next for Mark, EDF number 5, same 5.5 turns.
Okay, double checking the settings. We got Bravo 7. Counterclock was 2. 1.5 turns. Machine work.
There are 6 bolts that the astronauts have to release. They'll be kind of handing off as they each have the pistol grip tool to unscrew the bolts, 5.5 turns each. 3 bolts on each side, 3 for each astronaut.
And pulled out via the lanyard to the length of the lanyard.
Copy.
Bolt number 5. That's number 5.
Copy number 5, complete. Next, mark EDF number 4, 5.5 turns.
Did it work?
Station now in an orbital darkness, 252 statute miles just above the Earth, just south of Singapore, flying in a southeasterly course towards the northwest coast of Australia.
Out to the length of the lanyard.
Copy that. Mark, you can stow your PGT Nemo EDF number 2, 5.5 turns.
2. Double check. I have Bravo 7. Contact request 2.
Good PGT settings.
Nothing. 1, 2. 3. 7.5 turns. Rocky, I'm readied to the lee. Or lee.
Copy, readied.
Okay, and EDF number 2 complete.
Copy EDF number 2. Copy EDF number 2 complete. For Mark, verify that you are in a good config prior to the lee removal.
All right, checking all that. I am in a good config, and I do have control of the lee. You need to bike that up? No, I just keep it down all night. Okay. Doesn't matter.
Copy. Just a warning, keep hands away from the SSRMS lee opening, snares, and the PDGF curvet coupling. And Mark, I understand you do not require any GCAs.
Okay, copy. No, not to get access to the handrail, no.
Okay, once you have verified that you have positive control of the lee, you can give EV2 a go to release the remaining EDF, which is EDF number 1.
I have positive control of the lee. Nemo, you're a go for that EDF. As I go, let me check Bravo 7, attack clockwise 2. Here you go. 1, 2, 3.
Norishige, Kanai, unscrewing that last bolt holding in the latching end effector to the mobile base system where our 2 spacewalking astronauts are working right now.
All EDFs are extracted.
Pulled out again. Feels like something's on. I got 3 on my side extracted. Okay. Me, put on my PGT. Good call, Nemo.
Encountering another short handover of communications with some of our tracking and relay satellites that are providing communication and video from the International Space Station. Norishige Kanai driving the last of 6 bolts that are keeping the latching end effector in place. Once both astronauts and the ground agree, they will actually remove the latching end effector from its current spare docking position.
Agree.
Okay, so you got...
back away maneuver.
Yeah, so sorry, we had just had a handover. So we understand you got all EDFs extracted?
We have them all extracted. The lead is no longer connected to structure. It's only connected to me. And Emo just finished good checks of the blind main connectors, both on the Lee and on the POA.
Copy that. Could you reinstall the EDF clamshell MLI around the EDF ring? Best effort, but we'd like that over the indicator.
Over the indicator button.
A-firm.
Okay, look now, Lee side. All right. Indicator Eve. There it is. I help you out by getting to the right spot. Indicator is covered. Thanks, Aki. Emo. Yep.
Copy that. With that, Mark, you can give the arm a go for maneuver to the MBS backup position.
All right, your go for maneuver into the MBS backup position, Joe and Baker.
All right, Mark, that's great work. We copy that. When we get in mode, we'll let you know before we start this two-step maneuver.
All right, comes back to you, Aki.
Copy. For Nemo, I guess, we can get a glove and hap check.
Okay. Getting gloves. Left, no damage. Right, no damage. And hap is dry.
Copy. And once Mark leaves that work site, you can translate back to airlock. Make sure you retrieve your green hook and depress the port cedar cart brakes, and watch out for the tusk cable.
Copy that.
Arm is coming in motion, Mark. It's going to be 2 meters, station nadir.
Copy. Motion.
Good motion.
So it's a little hard to see from just the lights on their helmet cameras illuminating their workstations as the International Space Station flies 256 statute miles over Western Australia. Right now you're looking at a view from the helmet camera of Norishige Kanai. The light that you're seeing is, from his view, is the light from Mark Vande, who currently has in his hands the spare latching end effector. They have cleaned up the work sites and all the bolts have been removed, and now the spare latching end effector is in Mark Vande's hands. He was speaking with Joe Akaba, who is inside the International Space Station, about to give the command to back away, the first of several maneuvers, to back away from the workstation with the robotic arm where Mark Vande is strapped into. In the meantime, Norishige Kanai doing a glove and hat check, making sure that there are no scuffs on his hands and that his helmet absorption pad is dry. With that, he'll start moving over to the airlock, where Mark Vande will ride the station's robotic arm and meet him. They'll begin to hand over with the spare latching end effector to safely stow that latching end effector in the airlock for later sending back down to Earth for refurbishment.
Hey, Mark, we're going to go ahead and do the next step. It's going to be station starboard.
Station starboard, copy. How far?
Going about 1.7 meters.
Thanks.
1 meter to go.
Mark Van High riding along the station's robotic arm as Joe Akaba reporting milestones for the first maneuver to back away from the workstation. In the meantime, we're getting a helmet camera view from Norishige Kanai, who is translating over to the airlock. Translating means just moving to get into position for handing that latching end effector over to him.
And Mark, we need to get set up for the joint OCAS to the airlock, so we'll let you know before we start motion.
Okay, I have the lead in my right hand.
Man, thanks.
A little dark and hard to see as the space station flies in orbital darkness just south of Australia, 259 statute miles above the Earth. But in his right hand is the latching end effector of Mark Vande. You can tell by the number 18 from his helmet camera. In the background there, you can see Norishige Kanai translating or moving over to the airlock workstation. Joe Akaba, you'll hear on the loops as well. He's inside with Scott Tingle at the hands of the controls of the robotic arm. He'll be moving Mark Vande, whose view we're seeing now, over to the airlock to meet Norishige Kanai. Going through the steps here in Mission Control is the voice you'll hear from here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room is Aki Hoshide.
Mark, before we get started, just reminding you about that note. I know you mentioned the right hand, but the EV and ESP2 clearance may get down to approximately 55 centimeters. We'll be watching out for you.
So that'll be over my left shoulder, correct?
Yep, that is correct.
Copy. For your everybody's personal awareness, EV2 is coming down Theta Star to the airlock.
Copy.
0.
Okay, Mark, if you're ready, we're ready to start motion of the arm. It'll be a 3-minute maneuver.
Do it. Ready.
Arm is in motion.
I can feel the motion. Thank you.
And there goes Mark Vande riding along the station's robotic arm. At his feet is a portable foot restraint that's holding him nice and secure to the robotic arm. In his hands are the latching end effector. He's basically riding the station's robotic arm to the airlock where Norishige Kanai is moving to right now. Once in position, they'll start to hand over that latching end effector, and Norishige Kanai will place that end effector inside the crew lock, the airlock, and secure it to bring it inside later. That latching end effector will be taken down to Earth on a SpaceX Dragon cargo vehicle to refurbish and send back up to the International Space Station to use as a spare.
We're well clear of ESP2.
Copy.
Do you have a preferred direction that leaves oriented when I send it to you?
It depends on where red point is located.
So of course, the red point is located on the handrail.
Which side?
Which is closest to me.
Opening side, near side.
It's got one on either side.
Okay.
So you can choose the one that's closest to the end. Do you want the spare side or do you want the EDF side?
EDF side, please.
Okay. That'll work.
So as Mark Vande rides the station's robotic arm over to his handover point at the airlock, he's speaking with Norishige Kanai, now moving himself over to that workstation. They're talking about a RET that is one of the tethers or tether points that's on the latching end effector. Basically, Norishige Kanai will use some tethers to secure the latching end effector over to him as he moves it into the airlock.
Okay.
All right.
So this one will be on Nemo's call.
There are a few tether points that Mark Vande is reporting from his view. Based on the position that he ends up in next to the airlock, it'll be up to Norishige Kanai to determine the best position to secure that tether.
The geocast is complete.
Copy. B2 opening the summer cover, and summer cover is open.
Copy.
And let me grab the red.
There's Kanai at the airlock right now, opening the thermal cover, exposing the light from the inside of the crew lock. He's getting the tether right now to secure the latching end effector for a handover so Kanai can bring it into the airlock.
Okay, I got red for the C.
Okay. And whenever you two guys are ready, we are ready for the maneuver to the airlock handoff position.
All right, ready.
Houston's ready.
Nemo, you called when you want to start the GCA and when it's complete and all that.
All right. Let's start GCA to publish.
Okay, copy. We're going to get in mode and we're going to start the GCA to published.
So Mark Vande is just there's one more maneuver to get into the handoff position. He's just waiting for the right cue, Joe Akaba confirming the initiation of that last maneuver so he can get closer to Norishige Kanai and begin handing over that latching end effector that's currently in Mark Vande's hands.
40 to go.
Okay.
$20 to go.
Roger.
And gentlemen, we're at the published position.
All right. It's a little bit too far. Can you guys come to station Zenith 25 centimeters?
Okay, we're taking a look, 25 zenith.
Yep. We have 1.5 meters clearance between airlock huts.
Can it help if I turn it this way?
Actually, the way you are holding is good.
Okay, let me work on that again.
Mark Vande is in his final position on the end of the station's robotic arm, now beginning to hand over the latching end effector for its stowage inside the crew lock. Norishige Kanai at the top of the screen there, securing the tethers to make sure that it is secure as he moves it into that position.
Arms in motion.
Okay. Motion Zenith.
Okay, good motion. We're at 20 centimeters.
Okay.
Want us to continue?
Stop 25 centimeters and let me assess.
Okay, that's right around there. So if you want to assess and let us know, we can give you more.
Okay. Yes. 20 more centimeters, please.
I'm gonna change the angle so it's like this,
Oh, okay.
and then if I put it right above me, that help?
Oh, let it go.
Uh-oh. It's a good spot though, the way I'm holding it.
Can I come in?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry. My bad.
No problem.
Okay. I got red and coming out. Here.
Yeah, you're clear to come out.
Okay. Thank you.
Got the back of your, there you go. Nice. You're still clear.
All right. Thank you for helping me.
I don't mind checking your safer handles. I see left one's down, right one's down at least.
Okay. All right. Let's assess the red.
Okay, I'm coming back your way. I'm gonna try to rotate it this way. I can get closer.
With the tether in hand for Norishige Kanai, they're starting the handover now.
You guys let us know if you need more before we do the handoff.
Okay. Because maybe 10 centimeters or so to the Zenith, please.
Okay, copy. 15 more centimeters zenith. Arms coming in motion.
Ready for it.
Just slightly out of reach from Norishige Kanai, Joe Akamba from the inside of the station, going to move the station's robotic arm with Mark Vande and the latching end effector in hand, just slightly closer, so Kanai can get a good handle on that latching end effector and secure the tether.
Should be fine. Clear complete.
Okay, we copy GCA complete. And the SSRMS is in standby. You have a go for POA handoff.
Okay, go for handoff.
All right.
We're all stepping on that GCA, Nemo.
Nice job, guys. So, Nemo, you can put the red on the lee. If you need to, you can use your red or daisy chain as required.
Okay, got it. And I have control. You can lead it, Mark.
Okay, stand by.
So that was Aki Hoshide from here in Mission Control Houston saying to secure the tether onto the latching end effector.
I agree. Good job, Nemo.
And there's the handover. The latching end effector heading into the crew lock where it will stay for the remainder of the EVA today.
Got the weight, huh? Yes.
Nice job.
Precious, baby.
That's outstanding.
And Nemo, when you stow it, make sure it's in the port aft corner, and make sure that the lee is in a vertical position with the snares facing nadir.
Copy.
Norishige Kanai heading into the crew lock now to make sure that it's secured in the position within the crew lock as Aki Hoshide, the ground IV today, just described.
Aki, if you agree, I'm going to give SSRMS a go for the MSC backoff position.
And Mark, while Nemo's working on stowing the lee in the airlock, you have a go-to maneuver to the FSC backoff position.
Thank you. All right, Maker, let's go for the maneuver to the FSC backoff position.
Okay, copy that. We'll go ahead and get in mode and let you know before we start motion.
Thank you. Comms back to you, Aki.
Copy. Nemo, once you have the lee in the airlock stowed, you can retrieve the ratchet wrench with a 2-inch extension from the crew lock bag number 1.
Email copy. And more or less, the lee is stored in the expected position, and I retrieved the red on my mini workstation, so I'm coming out.
Mark, the arm's coming in motion.
Copy.
Copy.
Station nadir.
So Norishige Kanai, and as Aki Hoshide referred to as Nemo just now, he is securing the latching end effector inside the crew lock and stowing away one of his tools that he used for one of the previous tasks. In the meantime, Joe Akaba still inside the International Space Station with Scott Tingle working with the station's robotic arm, going to back away Mark Vande, who is now at the tip of it, and start the first of several maneuvers to get into the next position where the next latching end effector is over at the external platform. Norishige Kanai closing the thermal cover, and the next steps is to head over to that new workstation.
Verify safer handles down.
I will check.
I can see your left one is down,
Okay.
and so is your right one.
Thank you for the checking. Yes.
Copy. Safer handles down. Thank you.
And gloves are still good, tap is dry, and I'm moving to the ESP2.
And you must stand by 1 second before you translate. We just need to make sure that the exercise is complete inside.
And Aki on 1, there is...
All right, we verified that there's no exercise going inside. So Nemo, you can translate to ESP2 FSE.
Roger.
So Joe Akaba on the inside of the space station, referencing no exercise. That's just to minimize the movement that's going on in the space station to make sure the station itself is stable during today's spacewalk. With the first task complete, the 2 crew members soaring through today's procedures ahead of schedule, now heading towards the next work site over at what's referred to as the ESP2. That's the external platform where the next latching end effector is, and will be moved over to where the latching end effector that is now currently in the crew lock will be the new home for that latching end effector currently on the external platform. Not a very far commute. Norishige Kanai already at the external platform. You can start to see the latching end effector right next to him, to the left of Mark Vande, who is now riding the station's robotic arm. You can tell from the red stripes on his thighs. Again, Norishige Kanai has no stripes on his suit.
Okay. 5612 is exposed.
Copy, Nemo. You can start releasing the EDFs when you are ready. First one is number 5. Use the 2-inch socket. 5.5 turns. Pull the lanyard.
Copy.
Right. That's the one that I thought I might be able to help you out with. I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be on this arm motion. I'm not there yet.
Yep. Fine. I can go around.
And Mark, the JOCAS is done. We're going to get set up to give you that GCA for the next FSE, but understand that you and Nemo may need to do some work while you're here.
So, Aki, if it's okay, well, it's up to you, Nemo. I think you're going to get this done really quickly. Let's wait here. Oh, and Maker will just stand by for a moment.
Sounds great. We'll get all set up here and we'll be standing by.
And copy all.
One turn.
Mark Vande at the end of the station's robotic arm in position waiting for Norishige Kanai to start driving those bolts, unscrewing the bolts where that is now currently securing the latching end effector that was previously removed on a spacewalk earlier this year back in January. Being that it's a temporary storage place, there's only 4 bolts that are holding this particular latching end effector into place versus the 6 that we had from the latching end effector earlier.
And it's come out.
Copy. And reminder, if the bolt is not flush with the flange, you can hand tighten it.
Check. Yeah, what the heck is flush with the flange?
Copy,
So
flush.
good.
Thank you for checking. You can stow your ratchet on your T-bar, and then we'll move on to PGT.
Nemo, stand by for just a sec. Don't move. Just check something on your safer handle. Okay, it's good. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for double checking.
Thanks for checking, Mark.
My pleasure. Nice work, Nemo.
Thank you.
Aki, do I have can I take the comm for the GCA after you give Nemo some instructions on the next bolt?
Yeah, that sounds good. Once Nemo's in position, I'll read the PGT settings, and then I'll hand over comm to you.
Norishige Kanai moving swiftly through the timeline today using the ratchet tool to release the first bolt. Now he'll switch over to the pistol grip tool, basically the power drill that will he'll use to undrill the remaining 3 bolts. Soaring through today's timeline now over an orbital sunrise space station flying 256 statute miles over the South Pacific Ocean, heading on a northeasterly coast towards Nicaragua.
Nemo, you let me know when you're okay with me taking the comm.
Okay.
And I'll take the comm now, okay?
Give me 1 second. 5 contact record 2, and expecting 5.5 turns.
That is correct, 5.5 turns, and then pull the lanyard. And with that, Nemo, you can start driving that EDF, and Houston is okay with Mark taking the comm.
Mark, take your comm.
Okay, let's go for the GCS to the FSC, the GCA to publish the FSE position.
Okay, copy. We're going to start you with the GCA to publish. Let us get in mode, and this will be a 3-step maneuver. We'll let you know before we start. Mark, here comes station nadir, 30 centimeters.
Good motion.
Copy, good motion. And here comes station port, 30 centimeters.
Copy.
Norishige Kanai using the pistol grip tool to unscrew those EDFs. Those are the expanding diameter fasteners, the bolts that are securing the latching end effector onto the external platform. He's got 3 to unscrew with that tool before handing over to Mark Vande, who is currently on the end of the station's robotic arm. A couple extra brackets holding the spare part in place before handing over, but that one will be moved to its new location over at the mobile base system, where Mark Vande and Norishige Kanai were earlier today on this spacewalk.
We have 50 to go.
Thank you.
Thirty to go. 10 to go.
Data published. Published, I'm good with it.
That is published and you're good. We'll call that GCA complete.
I agree. GCA complete.
Houston, I had port number 6 3 turns and released, and the bottom head is still flush with fans.
Copy EDF 6 complete, still flushed. Next is EDF 1, same setting.
Okay.
And Mark, do you have a go for FSC ops?
Copy. Kanai, I am ready to the degraded lee handrail.
Copy reddit, thank you.
E2, double checking. Alpha 5, counterclockwise 2.
Good PGT settings.
Okay. Here's number 1, starting. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this time 5 turns, and it was a little bit too much. I'm counter-tighten the overhead, and it's now flash.
Nemo, we're good. Yeah, go ahead and hand tighten it. Thank you.
5 turns.
Copy 5 turns. And with that, first of all, for Mark, verify that you're in a good config to retrieve the lee and make sure you have a good you're in a good position to control the lee. And if you are good,
I am all of the above.
Copy. And Mark, can we get a quick glove and hap check before we proceed?
Sure, hap is dry, and this EVA has been easy on my gloves. Change the baseline.
Copy, no change, baseline. All right, Mark, if you have positive control, you can give Nemo a go to release EDF number 2.
You're go to release EDF number 2.
Okay, go. I have Alpha 5, counterclockwise 2, and the photo 2. There you go.
One more bolt to go before the latching end effector can be removed from its temporary home here on the external platform and hand over to Mark Vande so he can ride the station's robotic arm over to its new home at the mobile base system.
All right. 4.5 pounds is released, and checking the water head. It's free. You have control?
I have control of the lee.
Okay, you have control. And water head is flush. And landing bank looks good to me.
Copy number 2 complete and flush. You can go ahead and remove the lee from the soft dock.
I have that
And I
done
guess
already.
yeah, I see it floating now. All right, Mark, at this point, you can give the arm a go to maneuver to the FSC back-off position, and Nemo, you can translate back to the POA. Watch out for the truss cable.
Thank you.
Do you want me clean up the FSE.
Yeah, we'll get that.
I might do that later, Nemo.
Yeah, we'll get that later, Nemo. And before you translate, Nemo, we'll get a glove and hat from you.
Now, before you give them that, Nemo, let me give Baker and Nemo a go for the maneuver to FSC background position.
Hey, Mark, that's in work.
Yeah, actually, I have some time, but still going to be going to the war immediately.
Yeah, we'll defer the FSC test till later. We're actually doing great on time. That's why we can defer it and come back later.
Okay, roger that.
I'm coming to motion.
Copy.
So Nemo.
Still open.
Station forward, Mark.
Copy. You can take the comm.
View of Mark Vande from his helmet camera, 18 at the bottom right corner of the screen. In his right hand is the latching end effector that was just removed earlier this year, back in January. He's going to ride the station's robotic arm controlled by Joe Akaba and Scott Tingle inside the International Space Station, controlling the robotic arm to bring it to its new home over at the Mobile Base System, where we were earlier today. Norishige Kanai and Mark Vande just removed the latching end effector that was removed in October and brought that back into the airlock to be sent down to Earth for refurbishment. From the view of Norishige Kanai, he is currently translating or moving over to that workstation, back where he was earlier today, the POA, or the Mobile Base System, that will be the new home for the latching end effector currently in tow.
Okay, Mark, we're going to go ahead and get set up for the joint OCAS, and we'll let you know before we start. It'll be a 3-minute maneuver.
Copy.
Go.
Roger, we are just crossing over a shore. Any idea where we're crossing over to? On the Earth?
You are over Central America and passing over to the Atlantic Ocean.
The spacewalking astronauts currently rocking through their procedures today ahead of schedule. Now at the end of the station's robotic arm is Mark Vande, who has the latching end effector in tow, removing it from the external platform and getting ready to bring it to its new home over at the Mobile Base System, appreciating the view that he has 251 statute miles above the Earth on board the International Space Station, riding on a northeasterly coast just east off the coast of Nicaragua. A beautiful view for him. While waiting for the next maneuvers, has the latching end effector in his left hand and a camera in his right, taking a few snapshots to commemorate this moment while he has some time. Extravehicular activities or spacewalks are very jam-packed, so taking time to appreciate this view and take a couple snapshots is much appreciated. His next move will be when Joe Akaba and Scott Tingle, again on the inside of the International Space Station, at the controls of the robotic arm to move over to his new workstation.
The lead close to your body, we'll be getting close to PDGF number 4 once you get close to the MBS.
Copy.
And arms coming in motion.
Thank you.
And Mark, make sure the lee orientation is EDF ring facing starboard when you get there.
Will do. That'd be kind of silly of me to try and stall the wrong way.
Doesn't hurt to try.
I've done some pretty silly things up here.
So Mark, the camera code Mark 50 Tether, so I need to release it.
Ah, I see.
Say again,
wow, something
Nemo.
about the eyepiece.
TVA camera, it's called cut.
If you pull your camera towards you, you'll be able to get it off of the... It's free. You're good now.
Okay,
You succeeded.
thank you.
Mark Vande riding on the station's robotic arm, just passing over Jamaica, now heading towards Cuba, the Caribbean islands, 251 statute miles above the Earth as he moves towards Norishige Kanai, who is waiting at the mobile base system, where the latching end effector will remain for its long-term storage. There's a good view of Norishige Kanai, now translating or moving up to that workstation as Mark Vande rides right next to him.
I've got the lee in my left hand to keep it away from the PDGF. No?
Here's some copies.
Nice job to the robotics folks for planning this robotics maneuver, because this is a tight one. It's going between a lot of stuff.
I agree, and the numbers have been great.
Just got a good view of the camera.
Yep. Robo's listening and smiling.
EV2 green hook is attached for the side Venus stanchion and rail unlocked.
Copy, thank you, Nemo. And you can move over to the medium ORU bag and stow your ratchet in that bag.
Roger that.
Well, it's feeling like this JOCAS might have been completed.
Hey, Mark, the JOCAS is complete, and you have a go for lee reposition.
Okay, Aki, I'm thinking my next step is to give these guys go for the GCA. The comp for anything?
No, that's it. But we were wondering, did you want Nemo to be in position for the GCA so that he can monitor clearance for you?
I think everything I need to be clear from is visible to me easily. I'm comfortable with it.
Go ahead, Mark. I need a little bit more time to stall.
I'll start the GCA. We can stop short if we need to. Joe, what I'd like to do, if you have a record of the GCA I got to last time, so my deviations from the published, that's where I'd like to end up again.
Okay, yeah, let's look what we have, and let's take a look, and we'll get right back to you.
Okay, so Aki, you still have the comm. So Maker, let me know when you're close to being ready for that, and we'll take the comm.
Okay.
Here's some copies.
Okay, rocket is stowed. The bag.
Copy. So Nemo, you can assist Mark for GCA as required, and then once he gets close, you can inspect the blind main connectors on the lee.
Mark, we are ready with the arm. If you are, we can start the GCA to the published POA access position.
All right, let's start that GCA.
Copy. And Mark, here we go, station port, about 40 centimeters.
Copy, station port.
The motion. Some port.
Thank you. You can't tell if I'm moving.
Because you got a smooth operator going on here.
Yeah,
Very professional.
Here comes station zenith, about 1.4 meters.
good motion.
Yep, I see good motion too.
A meter to go.
From the vantage point of Norishige Kanai, whose helmet cam we're seeing right now, to the right is Mark Vande with the spare latching end effector in tow, bringing it to its new home over at the mobile base system. The next set of procedures will be to secure it into place and drive a set of 6 bolts that will keep it there as its long-term storage home on the POA, which is referred to the orbital replacement unit home on the mobile base system.
And Mark, that is published. We had you 20 more last time in the station zenith position, but we wanted to give you a chance to evaluate there.
So, who's doing the first bolt hockey? Is it Vivo? Me.
Good question. I think you.
Chicken.
If it's me, I'm going to need to continue the GCA. If it's Nemo, what I'd like to do is have Nemo first bolt, and then after that. What I'm saying, so the GCA is still going, but what I'm saying is that we can get the on to the soft docks here. I just won't be able to get to the bolts yet, EDFs yet.
Rebel understands, and we're standing by.
And Houston's good with that plan. Verify all EDFs are extended before you install it.
The 1265 is out.
All right, I got to get these EDFs uncovered.
We got to call that GCA complete, Mark, for now?
Yes, thank you for the reminder. That's complete.
Okay, copy, GCA complete. The brakes are on. You have a go for POA install.
Working on it.
All right, understand.
The orientation is.
So orient the lee with the CLA receptacles pointing zenith.
Yep.
Roger.
Before that, make sure the blind mate is clean.
Okay, and I got a really good view on the structure side.
Okay.
I was looking at the lee side.
Yep.
So
Good.
Awesome.
Blind main connector checks, both sides.
Right.
And Nemo, I have this is the soft dock here.
Okay.
I see the soft dock on my side.
Yep.
See the soft dock on your side?
Yep.
We'll use those to align it.
Yep. On this side.
From the view of Norishige Kanai, again, helmet camera 17, you can see them lining up those bolts to secure it into its, what they're referring to as soft dock position, make sure it's going to be nice and snug. The bolts, the EDFs that they're referring to, that will keep it in place, there's 6 of them that they're going to drive over time to make sure it stays secure on that long-term home on the mobile base system.
All inserted fully. Oh wait, no. Okay, yeah.
Copy.
Yeah, they're inserted.
I have the front two fully installed.
Copy. All 6 confirmed. And Mark, I understand you wanted Nemo to start with his EDF?
Actually, I can do the EDF4 real easily from here, so I'm going to do that if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine. BGT setting is Bravo 2, clockwise 2. And for Nemo,
Bravo.
yeah, Bravo 2, clockwise 2, and you're going for EDF number 4. And for Nemo, next one for you is EDF number 1.
Ready. B. Will be ready.
Bravo 2, clockwise 2 to torque, correct?
That is correct. EDF number 4 to torque.
I'll do a quick count here. Alright, Bravo 2, clockwise. Yeah, I got 4.83 turns and an actual torque of 15.9. Good LED.
Copy. Good. EDF number 4. You can release the large small rep from the lee at this point, and Nemo, you can drive EDF number 1 to torque.
Copy. Bravo 2, contact Bravo 2, clockwise 2.
So the latching end effector is in its new position, soft docked, and they're going to be driving 6 bolts. Again, the pistol grip tool, the sort of power drill that they'll use to secure those bolts, those EDFs, into place. There's 6 of them that is going to keep the latching end effector in its long-term home, and they'll be doing that over the next couple minutes. Here in Mission Control Houston, next to me, I have Deputy Liaison Manager of the Canadian Space Agency, Jason Dyer. Jason, thanks for being here.
Hey, good morning. I'm happy to be here.
So I wanted to have you on console today to sort of describe the whole story of what's going on today. There's a lot of movement with latching end effectors going here and there, up and down. We got new latching end effectors on the station's robotic arm. So what's the story here? How did this all begin?
All right, so this is a culmination of several EVAs, and this is finally what we hope to be the end of it. That started back really in September when we decided to replace both end effectors on the SSRMS, or the arm that we commonly call it. They had served their 16 years, which was beyond their end of life, and they were starting to show a little bit of wear. So we decided that we would replace them in the next few EVAs. And so in October, we were able to replace the one end, and we swapped that with the POA, which you can actually see in view right now. And that was the end of those 2 EVAs. We then progressed and said, okay, we've got another spare. It's way out on one of the outboard storage centers, but we'll use that one, and we'll replace the end effector, LIA, next, which happened in January. And so the interesting part here, though, is that Lee, the spare one that was so far out, we actually used the SPDM, or Dexter as we commonly call it, to actually bring it closer to the airlock, and that actually saved the crew an entire EVA. So just another example of humans and robots working not only on the ground but in space. And so once that was in a better position, we were able to use that one, replace the end effector on the SSRMS, which was done in January, right? And then that one that was taken off was temporarily stored in preparation for this EVA here. And in this EVA, they were going to take that one, put it on the POA, which they have successfully done, and the one that was on the POA, which was originally failed and taken off back in October, was being brought in so that we can bring it down and refurbish it, hopefully send it back up in the next little while to be used again in case there's another failure that we have to do this. So that was the whole story. It took several EVAs. We're finally coming to the end here, and it went mostly smoothly. The one hiccup that we got was on the last EVA. The EVA went so smoothly, they put the new end effector on, and then the ground controllers tried to power it up. And powered up just fine on one side, but they could only get a partial power up on the other side, and it wouldn't get to the final stage. We could see that the hardware was passing all of its initial conditions, it was downloading the software, but just couldn't get there. So our engineers and software folks back in Canada at MDA and CSA worked really hard over a couple of days, and they got a diagnostic patch up there, got us some extra information, and we found that one of the components in the Lee was not within what they expected to be tolerance. It was actually in tolerance, but it was just outside what they had defined. And so once they figured that out, they worked another couple of days really, really hard, put this patch together. We uploaded that patch last Friday. As soon as that patch was on board, it powered up nominally and it was fine. So now we have two very healthy end effectors on both ends of the SSRMS, and we are going to get a slightly used end effector on the POA as we just see it here. This was the one that was originally on Lee B. And it is expected to exceed what we're planning to use it for in the next several years. So,
fantastic. And that Lee B that you were switching out now, that is now being installed onto the POA. You can see from the helmet camera right here. Its new home, where it's going to be serving as a spare part. It showed signs of degradation, but could be functional. But it's more of a preventative measure to put one of the other latching end effectors on, right?
Correct. I mean, we showed these end effectors as being degraded, which means they were still fully functional. It's just they weren't going to be as useful as they could be in the long term. So it was a preemptive measure that we changed these out. The POA that we see here that's being finished out here, we only use this maybe once, twice a year at most. So if you look over the next 10 years, say even the next 5 years, you're looking at about 10 cycles, right? On the SSRMS, we can see 10 cycles in a week. Right, so if we're in the during the Japanese vehicle, the HTV, if we're in one of those sessions, or even unloading cargo from one of the SpaceX vehicles, we can see 10 cycles on an end effector, no problem. So it's a high duration position when you're on the SSRMS. It's a very low duration time when you're on the POA. So we took the best of the two coming off the SSRMS. We put it on the POA for the long duration, and that's the best config that we can be in.
So while on the POA, it is functional. It can be used to actually grab things.
It can be, yeah, and there's two ways you can grab things. You can either grab it with just the snares, right? Or you can snare and then drive latches. And if you drive latches, you can then provide data and power to a payload or to whatever's in there. And that becomes important when we get to the Japanese vehicle later this year with the batteries, because that particular pallet that we pull out of the HTV requires power to keep the batteries warm in preparation for the EVAs that will transfer them to their final location.
I see. So out of curiosity, they've been moving a lot of these latching end effectors from place to place today, and Mark Vande is actually grabbing it and riding along with a robotic arm. Do you know how heavy those things are?
Yeah, it's just short of 500 pounds.
All right. But in space, you can just grab it with one hand and take selfies with the other.
He could, as long as he got a good hold of it.
Well, it's actually secured with a tether too, and that was part of this whole thing. And these guys are way ahead of schedule too, rocking through these procedures. So one of the procedures today, earlier today, Norishige Kanai actually brought a latching end effector inside the airlock, and they're actually going to bring it in and send it back down to Earth. What's the story there?
So, we've used up our spare that was on orbit. We have another one coming up on SpaceX 15, so in a few months. That will get stored outside, but in planning purposes, we like to have even another one, what we call launch on need. So we will take this one. The one we're bringing down has degraded latches and a degraded cable. So we will work over the next little while to repair those and refurbish those, get those back into a working condition, and then set a date sometime in the future where we can actually bring this one up if we need it. They're going to bring it down. They've designed a piece of hardware that will literally sit in the middle of the SpaceX vehicle with the end effector in there. It'll come down, and then we'll bring it home to Canada, and we'll do our best to put it back together, fix it up, and get it ready to come back.
Fantastic. Now, while you're waiting for it to come down, it's actually going to be stored temporarily in Beam, the Bigelow Expandable Activity Module, correct?
It is eventually going to end up there, yes, prior to it coming down on SpaceX 15. That's correct.
Fantastic. It's nice to see the utilization of that component of the space station. Originally a technology demonstration, but now actually storage on the International Space Station, and this is one of the ways it's going to be used. Jason, thank you so much for coming on and kind of describing the whole story there. Gave a nice overall picture of this whole story of latching end effectors moving around up and down. But now, like you said, we have two fresh, healthy latching end effectors on the station's robotic arm. A lot more to come, and planning on Canadian Space Agency's end has been phenomenal, and also the troubleshooting with some of those software glitches. So again, Jason, thank you so much for coming on and describing this story.
Oh, you're welcome. It's great to be here.
Fantastic. So now we'll go back over to our two spacewalking astronauts continuing to drive those bolts, wrapping up that activity, and finishing up what is now ahead of schedule, way ahead of schedule, driving those EDFs, those bolts, to secure it into its new home.
Nemo, thanks for that catch. Great catch. So for EDF number 1, PGT setting Bravo 7, counterclockwise 2, you can release one turn as you see fit and then remove the lanyard.
Is it up? Okay, I see Bravo 7. Clockwise 2, and just one turn.
And yeah, one turn, but if you need more, you can turn as required to get the lanyard out.
Okay. Turn, and linear is out.
Copy?
Now EDF is completely out.
Copy. Were you able to get the lanyard out? Okay, with that, we can go back to Bravo 2, clockwise 2, and you can drive that EDF number 1 to torque.
Look at that. Bravo 2, clockwise 2. Yes. And go for number 1.
Concur. And Mark, while you're waiting, could you check that all the lanyards are out on your side?
Yeah, that's complete. They're all out.
Thank you.
Okay. I got the number 1, 1.9 turns, seeing out.
Nemo, could you repeat your last?
Yes. 1.9 turns, 15 pounds, and the green light.
Stand by.
So right now, Norishige Kanai, from his view, helmet camera number 17, is working on driving that last bolt, making sure there's enough torque and it's secure enough in his new home on the mobile base system. Again, 6 bolts to drive this into place and secure it into this temporary storage place. But as Jason Dyer just described, Deputy Liaison Manager for the Canadian Space Agency, this position makes that orbital replacement unit or spare part also functional and being able to perform tasks even later this year, as he alluded to, for HTV, the Japanese cargo vehicle.
Yep. Level 7, request 2. Room number 6.
Good PGT settings, number 6 to a hard stop.
Okay, number 6 to hard stop. Okay, we got a 0.81 turn, 25.4 pounds, green light.
Copy, good numbers. You can reset your collar, re-trigger, and make sure the socket, the wobble is straight when you drive the bolts.
I got the reset. Level 7, clockwise 2, re-trigger, number 6.
Okay, copy.
Okay, I got a 0.03 turn, 25.4 pounds, and green light.
That's good. Mark, next for you is EDF number 3.
Okay, copy. Level 7, clockwise 2.
Good PGT settings.
I got torque of 25.3 and a turn of 0.3, so continuing.
So again, Norishige Kanai driving that last bolt on his side. There's 6 total. He drove 3. Now handing off to Mark Vande, who is going to drive his 3 to again secure the latching end effector into its new home.
Okay, an additional of 0 turns, so I'll call that complete with EF3. The torque was 25.8 and green LED. If that makes sense, Aki, I did it once and then I re-triggered once.
Yeah, we copy that. And so EDF number 3 is good. Moving on to EDF number 5 on Mark, your side. And we're coming up in a handover in about a minute and a half.
Okay, with one trigger, I got 25.6 and only 0.12 turns. On EDF 5.
Copy, good numbers, reset caller and re-trigger.
This will work.
And next for you, Nemo, would be EDF number 2 once mark is complete.
Okay. I got a re-trigger of 0.2 turns, torque 25.5. 0.2 turns.
Good number, EDF number 5. Next, Nemo, EDF number 2 to a hard stop.
So again, 6 bolts to drive this orbital replacement unit, this spare part, into place, the latching end effector that will remain on the mobile base system. As Jason Dyer from the Canadian agency just described, that will be its new home. It can be partially operational, not used as frequently, of course, as the 2 latching end effectors on the station's robotic arm, but still operational. The 6 bolts allow it to be secured into place on that mobile base system where the station's robotic arm could also operate. Once the station's robotic arm attaches to the mobile base system, it can receive communications and move along the truss to grab things on the ends of the truss, near both solar arrays.
The 0.09 turns and 25.4 pound and the green light.
Copy, reset caller, re-trigger.
Now regaining communication from the satellites that are providing video and audio from the International Space Station as our 2 spacewalkers continue to work on the latching end effector 250 statute miles above the Earth, now passing over eastern Saudi Arabia into an orbital nighttime. We'll start seeing the views get just a little bit darker as our 2 spacewalkers continue to work securing this latching end effector into place on the mobile base system.
5.5, green light.
Do you say 0.82 turns?
That's correct.
Copy, and you said re-triggered twice?
Okay, re-trigger.
I reset.
Okay, Nemo, just wanted to confirm that you got...
Reset the color, so this is the...
Did you get less than a quarter turn at the end?
The last one is 0.82 turns.
Okay, copy that, Nemo. Let's re-trigger, reset caller, and re-trigger again.
Okay, Bravo 7, clockwise 2, number 2. See. Okay, I have 0.13 turns, 25.3 pounds, and green light.
Copy, good. EDF number 2. Next, mark EDF number 4.
Bravo 7 clockwise 2.
Copy, good numbers.
Okay, and the first one I got 0.35 turn, and green LED, the torque of 25.5 with a re-trigger. And with one additional re-trigger, I got a additional 0.08 turns, 25.4, the torque and the green LED.
Good. EDF number 4. Last one, Nemo, EDF number 1.
Okay, EDF number 1. I have Bravo 7, turquoise 2, ready. And number 1.
And Aki, my PGT is off, and standards 3, 4, and 5. After a full test, the EDFs did not come out.
Copy all, Mark. Thanks.
And EDF number 1, 0.13 turns, 25.6 pounds, and green light.
Copy, Nemo, reset collar and retrigger.
Okay. Color is reset. More time, number 1. I got the 0.16 turns, 25.4 pounds, and green light.
All good EDFs. Great job, guys. So on Nemo's side, you can pull each EDF lanyard, verify the EDFs cannot be retracted. And Mark, we see you doing it already, but you can take pictures and the WVS survey.
Okay, I got the pictures already. Did get a WVS survey good enough yet?
We are good with that. Thank you.
So with the bolts driven, they're going to just make sure that all the bolts are in place, and with their wireless video systems attached to their helmets, do a quick survey to make sure there is no debris or anything that could harm the way that it's secured onto the POA on the mobile base system.
I am stowing PGT now.
Copy.
And carry checking.
Actually, Aki, I might be jumping the gun a bit, but the Velcro is all on Nemo's side from here.
Okay,
do you want
understood.
me to stay here until he's done, or do you want me to work back and off?
Stand by.
The EDFs are checked, and it's not retracted. And the clamshell is covered everything.
Copy. Stand by 1.
It's good.
Nice work, Nemo.
All right, understand we got the clamshell MLIs completed. So, Mark, you can maneuver away to the pull-up backup position. We'll get a glove and half check on the way. And then for Nemo, we'll get the mate-demate mechanism next.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right, Baker and Joe, I'm ready for the correction, the maneuver to back off position.
All right, man, we got you. This is a maneuver to the POA back off. It'll be a 2-step maneuver. We'll let you know before we start.
All right, come back to you, Nemo and Aki.
Copy.
Hey.
With his bolts driven and survey completed to make sure that every bolt is secure for the new home of the Latching End Effector, Mark Vande is done with this task. He's communicating with Joe Akaba and Scott Tingle on the inside of the space station at the hands of the controls for the robotic arm. starting the position to back away from his workspace and start looking towards the future for upcoming tasks. In the meantime, Norishige Kanai remains there, doing the final securing of the latching end effector to the mobile base system with the mate-demate mechanism.
Okay. Alpha 4. Counterclockwise 3, correct?
Negative. Alpha 4, clockwise 3.
Clockwise 3, thank you. Ready.
All right. About.
I turn to hard stop, correct?
That is correct. You have it memorized, and the sunset is coming up.
Yes. Measure that. 1, 2, 3.
Mark will get a glove and half check from you.
Oh, thank you for that reminder.
Norishige Kanai wrapping up the final installation of the latching end effector to the mobile base system with this mate mechanism that requires many turns, about 35, until it's securely fastened to that position. In the meantime, here's Mark Vande on the end of the station's robotic arm. You could tell from the red stripes on his thighs of the suit, just kind of hanging out right now. He's taking a couple photos of himself with the Earth at his back as the International Space Station enters an orbital sunset. The space station now 251 statute miles over the Indian Ocean, just south of India.
Nemo, could you repeat the torque?
Point 1.
Copy. Good numbers, Nemo. Thank you very much. You can take. And if you can do a WVS survey and make sure that the covers are installed. After that, you can do a glove and half check.
Okay.
And Nemo, WVS survey looks good.
Mate is. Okay.
The final mate-demate mechanism that secures the latching end effector into place has been driven. He did a final survey with his wireless video system on his helmet. Everything's looking good. With that, he'll do a final glove and hap check. This will happen periodically throughout today's extravehicular activity spacewalk, basically to make sure there are no scuff marks on the gloves and that the helmet absorption pad is dry and there's the coolant inside the spacesuit to keep the astronauts at a regulated temperature as they encounter plus 200 degrees Fahrenheit during the sun and negative 200 in the shade. That